Hi, this is Dave, and before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners. And that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.
And I was smitten at the first sound of that music, and it just took me right then and there.
Hello there! This is Dave, and you're listening to What Does Star Wars Mean to You, the show where we talk to all kinds of fans of Star Wars. From industry insiders to indie artists, from mega collectors to obsessive mythologists, to find out how Star Wars impacted their life. Here's the thing, there's a lot of ways to look at Star Wars, and it's all from a certain point of view, and that point of view is yours. Now, I've always loved hearing people's passionate points of view on Star Wars because, for me, it reveals new ways of looking at the franchise. Also, let's just face it, it's fun to talk Star Wars. If you're a geek for pop culture, then you've heard my guest's work before. Over the years, she has brought voice to some of the biggest heroes and villains of animation, including Wonder Woman on Harley Quinn, Black Canary on Young Justice, the Black Widow on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Poison Ivy on Batman Brave and the Bold, Gamorra on the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you're a Star Wars fan, then you definitely know her as Hera Syndulla on Rebels. All of that's really just the very tip of the iceberg, though. In addition to appearing at Comicons this year, Vanessa enjoys hosting live streaming and creating content for many esports events across the country, raising money for various charities along the way. Vanessa loves playing the video games she voices. Here's just some of them: Black Canary, Injustice 2, Sheeva, Mortal Kombat, and, of course, Hera from Star Wars Squadrons. And she does all of this on her Twitch channel as well, and she invites everyone to join her. Okay, so she's not just an extremely talented actor, she's also one of the kindest, approachable celebrities I've ever had the pleasure to work with, and I'm quite proud to say she's also a good friend. Please give a warm hello there to Vanessa Marshall.
Hello there.
Hello there. Tell me, Vanessa, are you ready to share with the world what Star Wars means to you?
I am indeed. 24 hours a day, every day of the week, always, always, always.
It's always an easy question for Star Wars fans to answer because it's like, yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I'm going to start with 5 with the Force. This is a basic 5 questions I ask all my guests, and it kind of gets your Star Wars fanhood baseline. So, question number 1, which Star Wars movie is your go-to favorite?
Empire.
Of course.
Yep.
Oh, for this one, I need to roll a 1d6. I got a 5. Okay. What is your favorite Star Wars alien?
Ooh, favorite Star Wars alien. So it'd be any alien race? Let's see. Well, I don't know if a Purgle counts.
I think so. Yeah, because it's an alien race, even though it may not be sentient.
Yeah, well, the Purgles are those flying platypus things. I don't know.
I think they may be sentient. Yes, Purgle.
Yes.
I was thinking Porg.
Oh, Porg! I love Porgs too.
Yeah, but the Purgle, yes.
I mean, are they more in the animal category or?
Yeah.
You know, the Bosks have always fascinated me. They remind me of the Land of the Lost, slothy type. You know, they're always a good go-to. Yeah, Trogruda's in a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a lover of all aliens in the Star Wars universe.
Throw you into the cantina and you're a happy person.
I am. I feel at home.
Question number 3. What is your favorite line to quote?
And this is how democracy dies.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also kind of sad.
Also very sad. Very.
Now, besides Hera, can you do any Star Wars impressions or impersonations?
Well, I think I kicked off with one almost. Hello there. That was my bad Obi-Wan. Let's see. Everyone has a bad Chewie.
Yeah,
Like I said, very bad Chewie.
But I like your Obi-Wan. I like your Chewie. I thought it was good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I think Chewie's just kind of hard to do in general.
Yes, I agree.
Now, besides the movies, what is your favorite Star Wars content? This could be a TV show, a comic book, a novel, a game.
Clone Wars. The Clone Wars series was so profound and so healing. I love how it filled in the space between the films for me and gave me more of an understanding of where Darth Vader's character came from. His history, and also it made even more rich, his fall from grace or his rise to power, depending on how you look at it.
That's true. I really love Clone Wars because it totally flipped the script for me on my viewing of the prequels. And now when I watch the prequels, they're so much more exciting.
Definitely. I agree.
And also they have great storylines and great story arcs that, it's the clone troopers, but it's also the political base. It's also the action adventure, and it spans. It's just fantastic. It's a fantastic.
Well, in terms of
series.
in terms of the restoring balance, when you see that the Jedi Council can even be somewhat corrupt, and that there's always this effort to sort of swing one way or the other to create balance, that I feel like Clone Wars filled in a couple of those beats that perhaps we just assumed what the next steps were, but maybe in the same way that Star Wars Rebels filled in some information about the formation of the Rebel Alliance and stuff like that, Clone Wars definitely made even more expansive and delicious the prequels, for sure.
Yes, that's a great way to put it, delicious, because it's
so
Star
good.
Wars chef kiss.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
Okay, so what first got you into Star Wars, and can you take me through that experience?
So I was an only child, and my parents were very much in the entertainment industry, which is to say very busy. My mom was an actress. Well, she still is an actress, but at the time she was in Dallas and Knots Landing, and my dad was a news reporter, KNBC, Emmy Award-winning. Very serious, always on the scene type of guy. He looked like Ron Burgundy, literally. So that particular summer, they deposited me in Boulder, Colorado with my family there, my cousins, and my mom's sister took me to see the movie with all these kids. And so it was sort of my summer vacation, and it just kicked off this lifelong passion for that story. And I was smitten at the first sound of that music, and it just took me right then and there. And I call my aunt and say, like, can you even believe that I have had anything to do with that space opera that we saw back then? And she's, she just was trying to find something to do with the kids in the summer, which is what most parents, that's the challenge of having all that free time with the kids.
No school.
But so it was wonderful.
Now, was there anything particular as you watched it the first time? Do you remember anything that particularly stood out to you that was like, yes, this is speaking to me?
Well, first of all, Princess Leia saying, get this walking carpet out of my way, and Princess Leia having the coolest hair I've ever seen in my entire life, still to date.
Yes.
And wanting to acquire, Danishes to put on the side of my skull. And I wanted to be Princess Leia. That's all I wanted. And as far as like a female icon goes for young girls, she was everything. So there's that, seeing a very strong woman that you wanted to, or that I wanted to emulate. And of course, having things set in outer space, it forces a kid to think in such meta-theatrical terms that it literally blew my mind wide open, that the sky's the limit, and then beyond the sky. And I loved seeing Luke Skywalker step up to the plate and become the hero that he was destined to be. That also was inspiring to me, regardless of gender. That is just a human experience, that there is a moment when we can stay in what's safe and what we know, or we can seize an opportunity and rise to the occasion and discover things about ourselves that we didn't even know we had. And when he did that, that also inspired me. And the fact that they formed kind of a chosen family, being in the trash compactor and, this and that. And I know, obviously, we found out that Leia was Luke's sister. We had a lot more plot definition as the films went on. But I felt like I wanted more of that friendship and that chosen family. And I feel like that really set the tone for every single Star Wars experience I've had since that only expands on that premise. And when I talk about it with other Star Wars fans, I feel like I am celebrating that in my own life with those people. So it's really a life-changing story for me. I'm so grateful my aunt took me to that to that movie.
What was, when you were a kid, what was one of your favorite toys or action figure?
Chewie. Chewie all day.
What is it? What is it about Chewie that?
Well, I feel like his loyalty without words was so powerful to me.
Yes.
His relationship with Han Solo, his sort of silent, unfailing friendship, was so sweet and dear to me. In life, you don't know what you can count on, but for some reason, I felt like I could count on Chewie. And when I came to meet him at Star Wars Weekends in, that was 2014, I think, or 2013. And I met Peter Mayhew. I couldn't talk to him because it was just too momentous. I didn't know. I don't know. I lost it. I couldn't function as an adult near him. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Total fangirl moment.
I believe it. I mean, that moment, because I feel like Peter Mayhew, despite being in a costume that hid almost every feature except for his eyes, I think, totally gives a human performance in a way that is incredible.
I agree. 100%.
Oh, that must
and that's the thing. I kept looking in his eyes, and that's all I could see was Chewie. It was so weird. Wow. I mean, and weird's not the word for it. It was, I don't know. I felt like I was hallucinating. It was so strange. It was magical, really.
Magical, I think, is a really great word for it. Now, I want to jump into kind of your Star Wars experience in your work life. How did you first get involved in Star Wars, and what was that journey like?
Well, initially I played Jan Ors in, I think it's Knights of the Republic, which was a video game a long, long time ago.
Yeah,
and
fantastic video game.
So nerding out at that point for sure. But then I didn't really have anything to do with the Clone Wars animated series, the one that was on Cartoon Network, or the one that followed. And I was just a fan from afar, sort of just eating all of that content up. And then I got in an audition for something called Wolf that talked about sun swords and the cause. And I didn't put it together. I should have known, like the Wolf Pack. It was from Disney, and I'd also somehow forgotten that Disney bought Lucasfilm. I think it's because I did not think that my life would ever come in contact with Star Wars, so it just wasn't in the forefront of my mind. But I sort of applied my Star Wars knowledge to the very strange pieces of information that were on the audition page, and luckily the content was actually synonymous with the very things I was thinking. The Sun Sword was a lightsaber, and the cause was the Rebel Alliance. And the first section of speech, I think, was to Kanan, trying to convince him to humble himself enough for the cause. And then something about the ragtag crew. There were all the seeds of who Hera is, which is choosing Kanan. Like, she chose each and every one of these individuals to gather on the Ghost to forward the cause. And it meant so much to me that whether it was on point or not for some wolf story, I wasn't sure, but I knew that I knew specifically what I was talking about. And then got a call back, went over to Disney, saw a picture of a Twi'lek on the wall, and I'm going, oh, nuh-uh. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. And then I'm thinking, wolf. And then I walk in the booth, and there's Dave Filoni with his cowboy hat. And I'm going, wolf. Why didn't I know? And I had to calm down be
Yes.
professional. And then I went back to the choices that I made and all the things that I care about, the things that we would do when we were playing with action figures, right? All that we were trying to accomplish on our own, Now here's my moment to sort of cull all of that life experience together. And I did, and I held it together. And I heard that it was between me and 2 other women. And I didn't even care if I didn't get it because I got to meet Dave Filoni in that moment. And if that's as good as my life's going to get, I'm 100% okay with that. Then I ended up getting the role, and I freaked out. I flash back to other moments in adulthood where I thought, like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
why, what are taxes? What is the government? Wait, what do I have to do now? All the adulting things that make you just say like, oh, I just can't do any of this. And yet every day we get up, we have the coffee and we suit up and we show up and we do one more day and then we go to bed and then we do it all again. In that moment of getting that role, I thought to myself, like, thank goodness that I did not give up on whatever these shenanigans are that are called adulthood. I am so grateful to be alive for this moment that no one could have predicted, including my aunt, and she keeps reminding me. And it just made me want to inspire people everywhere to not quit before the miracle. And it's not like I was, having a dark night of the soul and ready to pull the plug or anything.
Yeah.
But I would say that it is definitely worth it to slog through some of the more difficult moments in life because you don't know what it is that you're meant to discover born out of whatever, existential angst that is adulthood. So I just felt beyond lucky. I felt so grateful, and I was not going to squander this opportunity. And when I went to the first day, I met Freddie, and Freddie is, like Wikipedia. I mean, the guy with Sam Witwer, the 2 of them, forget it. But it was so wonderful, to use the word again, delicious. It was delicious to talk to these people who love Star Wars as much as I do. And it was more of sort of a passion of my own that I didn't really share with people. When I found Twitter and I found, oh my gosh, look at this. I've made friends all over the world as a result of social media and various hashtags that kind of make us collide with one another in cyberspace. And now I feel like I have a family all over the world. So it's just, it is literally the best thing that's ever happened to me, period.
That's spectacular, and must be a tremendous feeling to know you have this connection with everyone who has fallen in love with these characters as well.
And the fans, like when we went to Celebration Chicago, I'll just tell this story really quick quickly, and if anyone has heard it, apologies, but we were snowed in Chicago for Celebration. I think it was 2019. We were about to board the plane. They shut the whole airport down. They said, your bags are in baggage claim. Thousands of humans were going through bags, and I had my voiceover studio on my back, which is not a light item. I didn't know that I had been walking around for 3 hours looking for my luggage. I started crying because I felt so powerless in a sea of humans. I didn't know where my bags were. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a mess. And someone stepped up to me with a Hera sweatshirt on and said, Vanessa, are you okay? And I said, I am not okay. Can you watch my bag while she said, here's what we're going to do. My husband's going to take carousels 1 through 3. You and I are going to take the rest of them, and we're going to walk around and put your bag down, and you can leave it with my sister, okay? And the 3 of us combed through the Chicago airport, found our bags like the Star Wars victors that we are, and murdered it, and we're friends. Because that's what Star Wars fans do for each other. I had never seen her in my life, and she took one look at me, and she cracked my heart open, and she hugged me and helped me, and that is it. That's one story. I have 1,000 of those moments that are so inspiring that we really can count on people on the planet, that people are intrinsically good, that, we are very lucky to have this sort of very strange tribe of individuals who, I understand there are the Sith, there are the Jedi, there are, all these fractured bits here and there that are of different opinions and this and look, at the end of the day, if we're stuck in a crisis, we're going to help each other. And that's what I took away from that. And so rather than focusing on, the end of Celebration, I was, stuck in this and that. No, at the end of Celebration, I had an even more incredible experience at the airport, discovering how lovely hashtag Star Wars family truly is. And I am so deeply grateful to that family. And, that's just one of many that have been kind to me.
It totally exemplifies that idea of the Star Wars found family, which is, so, as you said earlier, embedded into all the stories of Star Wars.
Right. I mean, say, for example, if Hera were stuck in Lothal and I would see someone with a Rebel Alliance symbol and, we would help each other. And that, I don't know. I love that. Yeah. And I've had a billion experiences like that. And it transcends even the events. Of course, at Celebration, you're going to get a million people who would love to help you with your luggage or, because we're all there. But even, at the supermarket here, if I see someone with a Millennium Falcon shirt and I high five them, their wife is a little uncomfortable with that. But, but I do feel like there's just this instant connection with people who show signs of their fandom. We are able to connect anywhere.
Yes, that's a beautiful story. I remember you invited me to go to a friends and family screening of The Force Awakens.
Yes. Remember? Yeah.
And it was, I forget, it was like the Tuesday before the Thursday midnight premiere, I think.
Yep.
And it was on not Hollywood Way, that's in Burbank, Hollywood Boulevard. And,
at the El Capitan, right?
Yeah. And there were other people waiting in line for the Thursday premiere, and you had friends that you knew via Twitter or something there.
Yes,
and you brought them pizza, and it was It touched me so that moment still sticks with me because it's it was such a moment of human kindness and connection that I cannot forget, because how wonderful would it be to be a fan of a character and have the person who portrays that character bring you some food.
I think they were doing an event called The Line Awakens or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, and it was for the Starlight Children's Foundation. They were standing out there. The longer they stayed in line, the more money that was raised for charity. So I figured I had to record stuff, so I couldn't stand in line with them, but the least I could do is get them some pizza. And I did it for several years with each subsequent film that came out. And I've definitely had some lifelong friends made on those nights as well. Definitely.
It's just so spectacular.
Yeah.
When you auditioned for Rebels, it must have been around 2013 or 2014, maybe even 2015.
It was 2013.
2013, and you were a pretty well-established voiceover artist by that time, with a lot of these type of characters under your belt. The Wonder Womans, the
and Black Widow, Black Canary.
Characters.
MaryJane, but nothing like Star Wars. Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Was there any other character that stands out to you as that you were, and I'm sure you're excited about all your characters, but was there are there any other franchises that you would be into as much as you are into Star Wars?
I'm a huge Marvel fan, and particularly a huge fan of Spider-Man. And when I got MaryJane in Spectacular Spider-Man, that was another pass-out moment of, oh my goodness, because their relationship, I feel, is so pivotal. Second only to his relationship with Gwen, but I was so honored to take a crack at that. I love MaryJane. So that was an interesting one. I had slated in character, Vanessa Marshall is MaryJane. And when I went to the callback, they said, do you want us to play what you did? And I was like, yeah, that'd be really helpful, actually, because I kind of don't remember. And they played the slate and then stopped it. And I said, well, where's the audition? And they said, oh, no, you nailed it in the slate. The audition was horrible. So go ahead.
Wow.
I was like, good thing I slated in character. Okay, here we go. I don't know. Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot. I tried. I don't know, man. I was like, wow, this is really, I threw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall. We'll see how this lands. I have no clue. I was like mildly insulted that they thought my audition sucked, but I was like, well, at least I slated I don't know, man, because that's like a thing. Do you slate in character or do you slate as yourself? And there's no right answer because different things irritate people differently. Yeah. I'd found out certain houses don't like it when you slate in character because then they have no way of knowing what other voices you can cover during the audition. Other people prefer that you slate in character, slating your name, saying, Vanessa Marshall as blah, blah, blah. And they want you to slate in character because they don't want to be distracted by the sound of your actual voice. So you just never know which is more appealing to whomever is listening and pray that it's synonymous with, working with whomever is listening. So
it must feel good to take a big swing like that and hit the ball out of the park.
Well, I almost passed on it. And this is funny because this is what voiceover folks do. I said, no, you got to get Gray Delisle or Tara Strong. I was like, I'm not suited for this. I don't know. This is just, and I called my agent. I was like, look, I think I'm just going to pass on this. I'm going to call Gray and make sure she has the audition because that's what we do for each other. I had a Harley thing and I was like, I'm not reading this because I want Tara Strong to get it. Tara is Harley. No, I'm not reading this. And why aren't they hiring her? What's going on? And so I call him did you read on this? Because I'm not reading on this. And being the gracious people that we are, Tara says, totally read on it. Why are you doing that? And I'm like, because you're Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't need to do that, Vanessa. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, yes, I do. And you're Harley and bye-bye. And, but so I can't believe my agent was like, well, I think you should take a shot. And I was like, oh God, this is embarrassing. I was like, all right, fine. So I did it and I was imitating a friend of mine at the time. And I was like, maybe that sounds like MaryJane. I'm not sure. And then when it landed and my agent called, I was in the middle of a Honda job doing legal tags, Lisa 2007, whatever. And we were on a break and I literally fell to my knees in the booth. And they were like, is she okay? Vanessa, do you need water? I was like, I'm MaryJane, because I was nerding out. I was 100% losing it in the middle of a job. But then they were like, oh, that's very good. Can we get back to the legal copy? I was like, of course. Here we are. But yeah, that was another.
9 lines of copy in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Those are my favorite jobs. I don't know how I know how to do that. But if the engineer gives me times in between, that was 8.2, you need it to be 6.9. I am able to shrink the copy verbally to the exact second decimal. I can do it. I don't know what that is. It's literally useless other than
for exactly what you do.
Yeah. Well, and then sometimes I'll over and it'll be 5.9. He's like, nope, too fast. And then I get it just right.
Wow.
And I love doing legal copy. I love it. It's so fun. Yeah.
Now, next time I have a contract, I'm going to call you up and just be like, can you read this to me really fast?
Really fast. Not a problem. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you about Hera. Because you alluded to MaryJane, I think, was inspired by a friend of yours at the time. How did you come to land on the voice of Hera?
I'll tell you, I went right into my own heart. Like I said, I drew from my knowledge of Star Wars, and I found the best parts of myself. And there was something that happened politically at the time that I found very disturbing. And I used that as my North Star to fight for this person who had been maligned physically. And it informed how I read each and every word. And that was 100% from my heart. Now, as far as playing other characters in the Star Wars universe, it limits me now. When I played Rookcast had to be somewhere down in here, which is very different than Hera. If you go down the middle with your own voice, it's funny. Taylor, when they ask, how did you find and Taylor's like, it's 100% me. And he's like, I don't do clown voices. I don't do cats. I don't do kids. Like, meow. No. But it's unusual. They're not. I mean, I guess Wonder Woman was also sort of down the middle, but they have they lead from different parts of their souls, I find. And Hera, while she is quite stern and cerebral, she also leads with her heart. And I feel like I located her voice literally in my heart. And so that's what I left on the mic, and that's what I gave, and that's how much I care. So I just sort of found the willingness to be that vulnerable to let. Sometimes it takes humility to be visibly imperfect or try and dare to be seen and heard and act as if you're worthy to be there, and that I know that can seem like narcissism. Actors are so full of themselves. Oh, listen to me, but at the end of the day, there's another version of what it means to be an actor, that it actually takes a lot of humility to be so vulnerable.
Yes.
And let the world see the humanity and the imperfection. And for better or for worse, I care about a lot of causes. And I was able to bring that part of me to her. And it was a good fit. And I bet people could feel that. And it's authentic. It's who I am. So
I think it very much resonates authentically with people. Hera is a character that is probably the most maternal of the major Star Wars characters. I think there's a kind of, in the fanhood, there's a feeling of calling her mother, referring to her
Space
as
Mom. Yeah, people call her Space Mom.
Space Mom, that's it. And that she is looking out for everybody in a way that I don't know a lot of other Star Wars characters are. Like, Princess Leia is looking out for everyone, but in a kind of a more political sense.
It's crunchy. She's crunchy, man. She's crunchy.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah, she's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah.
Is it with a voice like Hera versus a voice like MaryJane? Is it hard to go into that voice and maintain it for a whole session, or
no?
Do you just find yourself naturally attuned to that?
I'm not sure what that is, but also that's just something that happens. I mean, again, giving oneself permission to access those shades of oneself. MaryJane, I don't know what aspect of me I would call that, but there's a strength and an innocence that I know that I had also in high school, a kind of fearlessness, maybe slightly precocious, but caring, but also not to be trifled with. That, I am Italian, so there's that. Don't confuse the kindness for weakness. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what that is. Sometimes there are, with different characters, if you need to, and I know D. Bradley Baker is incredible that he did so many clones for us, but there's usually a shoehorn sentence. They call it a shoehorn into the character of that. There was for Austin Powers, I had to do ADR for Elizabeth Hurley, and she had a sentence, a lot's changed since 1967. And I would say that before, if I was losing my mind, I'd be like, a lot's changed since 1967. And then I would go into the character and I would find Elizabeth again. So sometimes there are little catchphrases that help people, oh, right, here we go. Face it, Tiger, you've hit the jackpot. Well, that's kind of a catchphrase. Sure.
Now, if Lucasfilm or Dave Filoni came to you and said, we want to just build a series around you in any era of Star Wars. You could be OT, prequel, 1,000 years prior, 100 years after. Where would you like to go next in your Star Wars adventure?
I selfishly want to know more about Mara Jade.
Yeah.
So I would want to know more about Mara Jade. So I guess I would delve into her interactions. I don't know. That's a fantasy. So whether I'm Mara Jade or anyone else, I just really hope we get that. I really do.
Yeah. Yes, I do. She's a fantastic character.
Yes.
Of all the elements from the Legends era that they brought into the Disney era, it's please, can we get Mara in here?
Please. I know. I feel it's imminent. I don't know. I hope it is.
Yeah, I hope it is too.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to balance your fandom of Star Wars with the fact that you're kind of working with it? You worked with it on a daily basis for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, no, it wasn't difficult at all. I felt like I was throwing a surprise party for people I care about, and I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise, so I'd be like, oh, great. Oh, sure, yeah. Well, we're going to go bowling now. Or, and I wasn't necessarily lying by omission. I just knew that the surprise that awaited them, I would never rob them of that full experience. To walk into the party and feel that joy and that wonder, and I couldn't wait for them to come to this surprise party. So that's how I viewed it. Otherwise, I felt like I was lying by omission.
No, that's a great analogy because it's like I want you to enjoy this too.
Yeah.
Was there any now with animation and with Star Wars? Not everyone's privy to everything at every moment going into it.
Yes.
Was there anything that surprised you when it reached the screen?
That she had a child? Yeah. I was like, wait, what? Wait, no. Why didn't anyone? Wait a minute. Whoa. Guys. I have so many.
Yes.
Dude, wait, what? Is he force sensitive? Where are his Laku? What is happening? Wait a minute. No, you cannot throw this on me without, how could I have not, okay, no, like, I had no clue.
Wow.
So, yeah, at that moment, I have talked about it before, but I was eating a protein bar because it was getting into the evening and I was starving and I had one in my purse. So I'm eating a protein bar like, huh? And there's a look on my face of like, what? And Taylor, I think, is punching me at the time, like, what? And it's like it's because, yes, the theater was dark, but they had night vision cameras facing the fans and taking fan reactions unbeknownst to me because I was watching the content. So they got this picture of me like, eating and shocked and being punched by Taylor. So it was a glorious moment of recognizing that somehow I had a small child and no one told me. So that definitely,
really
yeah, that tops the list of shocker. Spoiler alert. Yeah. And so the minute the whole thing was over, we answered questions and the whole time I'm just like catatonic going like, okay, wait a minute. This could have happened. Did this happen? And wait, could have happened. No, wait a minute. But no, he didn't have that. Okay. Well, we don't want to so I finally got Dave Filoni and I was like, my man, for real. What? And he was like, okay, do you remember that scene where you're with Kanan and then it goes to commercial and then the next time you're with him, it's morning? I said, yeah. He goes, it happened right in there. Okay, well, thanks, buddy. Well, can I get more back? Okay, all right. I just wanted more backstory. I was like, wait. Yeah. So anyway, and I've only seen one episode of Ahsoka so far. I need to watch the rest of it, but I hear Jason is in it. I cannot wait to see. So excited. Yes, I love what I've seen so far. Really thrilled. Again, Star Wars nerd. I want content always. So I'm so happy.
I don't want to ruin the surprise party for you, but there is one.
Uh-oh.
That's all I'll say.
Okay, God, I'm going to watch it tonight. Okay, all right.
It's good. It's really good.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right.
What are the top 3 elements that make Star Wars to you?
Family, and family.
Wow,
honestly, I really...
Yes.
There are many elements that make it Star Wars in terms of the hero's journey, and but I think what resonates most with me is family and chosen family specifically. And what Darth Maul tried to do, what Dooku tried to do. I mean, there are different families within that. Even what Palpatine and all that sort of nefarious stuff that was going on, like. He was a father figure to Anakin, so I don't know. I feel like family is for me first and foremost, and maybe first, second, and last.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to miss an opportunity to, celebrate two other virtues of the franchise. But
that's spectacular. And you're right. I love the idea that there are different kind of families within that, under that umbrella, that
sure.
Dooku and Maul all had elements of that, and especially Palpatine. I think of this every once in a while when he goes to Mustafar, and finds Anakin sizzling on the lava.
Yeah,
he does seem to have this paternal concern about it.
Yeah. I mean, there are a number of families. I mean, even the bounty hunters. They kind of are their own mercenary. You've got the Mandalorians. I mean, dude, there's it's very vast. There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot.
Yeah.
Now, what is your favorite Star Wars memory?
Being at Star Wars weekends that first time, meeting the embodiment of my favorite action figure, Peter Mayhew, alias Chewbacca, and it was his birthday, and they made him a Millennium Falcon cake. And I watched him walk up to said cake, blow out the candles, and James Arnold Taylor was there, and he put Mickey Mouse ears on my head. I thought I was in outer space. I could not believe. I remember after that going into the ladies' room and just sobbing because I couldn't believe what my life had come to in that moment. It was the first time he had walked. He had had surgery so that he would be able to do the more recent film. And he was able to get up from his chair and walk to the cake and blow out the candles. And it was a standing ovation of people there. And it was incredible. And his wife was so kind to me. And, we took pictures around the cake and I felt a part of, and I was welcomed as an equal. And I lost it. I really lost it. That was one of the highlights for me.
Wow. And that's the way you tell that is so beautiful, because here's the well-known space mom who is finding her own found family like behind the scenes of Star Wars, and that is a goosebump moment. That is
it was. It truly was. And I had this wonderful handler at Disney, Molly. She's still a very good friend. I recently saw her at a convention. And we were driving back to the hotel, and I said, "Can you just pull over for a sec?" She's like, "Yeah, sure," because we got through the whole Star Wars weekends, blah, blah, blah. And I just looked at her, and I just started sobbing. And we just hugged each other, and it was just like, I cannot believe how lucky we are. It was a moment where I finally was able to fall apart. I mean, I definitely went into the ladies' room by myself, but I just needed a hug, and she was so lovely and kind to me, and we will be friends forever. I mean, we really will. Someone gave me a gift I was at Spookala in Florida recently, and a fan had made me a cutout, sort of like a diorama cutout of the Rebels family, with the Loth Wolf and this and that, and it had exactly, and it had a light behind it and this and that, and I was like, how am I going to get this home? Because I can't take anything with a lithium battery. I can't pack it in my luggage, but I don't know. So she's mailing it to me. I mean, how kind is that? She offered. She was like, "Don't worry, I'll send it to you." So it's just, oh my gosh, yeah. I am beyond blessed with friends and family from all of the Star Wars experiences that I've had, for sure.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I have just two more questions. Mm-hmm. And this next one, if you're like, no, hard pass, that's totally okay. I'll just cut out.
Okay.
But as I was saying, as we discussed earlier, that Hera is one of the most maternal of the major Star Wars characters. Right now, post-pandemic, everything that's going on, it's everyone's having a tough time and might be able to use a little Hera pep talk. And I know I'm popping this question on you, but could you give me and everyone listening a pep talk as Hera about facing dark times?
We have hope. Hope that things will get better, and they will. The Force will be with you always, in every time, especially now, in this time of darkness.
Oh my God.
That was
awesome.
It was a slice of one of her speeches and addressing the issues you mentioned.
Yes.
But
that was great. That was
Yeah.
great. Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you for that. That's just...
I gotta love Space Mom.
Yes, yes. I think from what I see in the world of Star Wars, fans love Hera. These characters are an element of so many people, writers, Filoni, but
Right.
your portrayal, your voice really solidifies everything, and I think that's a spectacular achievement.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really honored to have had the opportunity, truly.
My final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Skywalker Ranch, and there at the gates, George Lucas greets you. What do you say to him?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've never met him, and all I can do is just say thank you. I mean, I remember hearing stories that he had been in a car accident, and that's what gave him sort of the courage to try as hard as he did and to dig deep and go in on a space opera. And the manifestations of his hard work show me that, we are not guaranteed anything, and every moment does count, and you might as well go big or go home. And sometimes those near-death experiences give us the transcendence and the bravery and the valor and all that is necessary to just take a huge risk. And his life is a lesson in why it's worth it to try. So, I mean, I thank him for all that he created, but, I'm glad he lived. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all very lucky.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's such a major part of my life. I can't imagine
Me either.
it not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just say 2 words. Thank you.
Wonderful. Vanessa, where can people find you?
Well, if you'd like to go onto the old Instagram, I am at Vanessa Marshall 1138. Yet another ode to George Lucas. And my Twitter feed is the exact same, at Vanessa Marshall 1138 1138. And then on Twitter at Van Marshall. And starting next year, I will be live streaming Women Crush Wednesday from my Twitch channel. Yes, where I will be playing Sheeva in Mortal Kombat and Black Canary in Injustice 2 and Hera in Squadrons. And also I will have many of the female voiceover actresses over to my home in this. It is a fridge full of yummy treats and Monster energy drinks, and they're not sponsoring me. But, just all sorts of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. The voiceover actresses I'm going to introduce them to the world of gaming, and I'm going to have my gaming friends on Twitch get to meet their favorite voiceover actors, and we'll play each other and talk smack. And all the while, there's a company called Tiltify, and we will pick various different charities each week. There's a one we're probably going to start with called Black Girls Code that I support. And we're going to go from there and help empower women everywhere. Step Up Women's Network, Women for Women. And I hope to add a secondary night it's going to be called #StarWarsFamily, where I will play all the Star Wars video games, the ones I'm in and others. And I will have Sam Witwer and all the other clowns from the ragtag crew from Rebels. And we hope to also raise money for different charities that support all kinds of families and different causes. We're going to have fun and pay it forward. That's the goal.
That's beautiful. And all these links will be in the podcast notes. So if anyone listening,
awesome,
just go to there. You can click on through.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing everybody and hanging out online. And 2024 is going to be a fantastic year. I know it.
It is. Take that big swing.
Yeah, exactly. Go big or go home.
And Vanessa, if Star Wars is all about found family, I am so glad we found each other.
Amen. Me too. Me too.
It's so wonderful. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And sharing what Star Wars means to you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm so grateful. I feel so lucky every day, and you're part of that. So I'm deeply grateful. I look forward to many more years.
There will be.
Will you fly down if I get invited to another screening? I hope you'll come with me. That's our tradition,
Yes, I will.
Great. Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, thank you, Vanessa, and may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you also.
Hi, this is Dave, and before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners, and that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.